Now, we talked earlier about plants that are going to vine or grow very tall. With tomatoes, I like to either have mine on a stake or have mine on some kind of a cage. And so what do you do in a situation like this? You can simply put your EarthBox up against a trellis, an existing trellis that you have, and as your plants vine, cucumbers or whatever they happen to be, you can tie them to the trellis. You can make your own trellis system. In some of the brochures that I had laying on your chairs, if you have the one that's more of a square shape, that particular brochure has a lot of photographs of people and how they've used their EarthBoxes. And you'll see some 2x4 homemade trellises, some made out of pipes. Or you can buy one. You can go online to earthbox.com. They have all kinds of things to go with EarthBoxes. Let me tell you, in the place where they invented these in Florida, they have acres and acres of EarthBoxes lined up in rows. They have fields full of them. Can you imagine? They were serious about doing something to protect their tomato crop. They have irrigation systems with little drip tubes that go in the top of every one of these little tubes. And automatically, every so many hours or so many times a day, water is automatically fed down into the EarthBox. But the water, the moisture of the soil always stays the same inside there. They have them out in full sun. There was a customer here about a week ago who was talking to me about the EarthBox, and he said, you know, we used to live in Florida, and we have been to that place at 2 different times where they make these and they sell them. And one of the things that they like to do is plant them like I just have and then sell it as a complete garden with plants already growing. And I said, well, you know what? I've been on their website many times and I have read that they were thinking about experimenting with planting actual trees, not little vegetables. Oh, we saw one, he said. He said, I'm going again in a week and I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to bring it to you. It was an orange tree. It had a trunk this big around. I said, you are kidding. In that box? He said, yes, and it had full-size oranges on it. So I'd love to have that picture today to show you, but hopefully I will in a week or two. But yes, you can plant anything in there. But like I said before, most green plants have got to have a lot of sun, especially vegetables. I don't know if any of you were here last summer, during the summer, but I had our EarthBox, which I have planted over there right now. I had put 2 Better Boy tomatoes in there. And it wasn't long after, I mean, they were just this big when I stuck them in the ground. They just looked so cute there. And I work here every other day, so it'd be 48 hours till I'd see it. And pretty soon it was this big, and then it was this big, and then it was this big. And I thought, well, those things are going to fall over pretty soon. I have to support these. So I built a cage. I built this box, and it goes right over the EarthBox. Goes right over it like that. This is reinforcement wire for flat cement work, for sidewalks and driveways. It comes in big sheets. I bought it at Lowe's. It comes in sheets 4 feet wide and 6 feet long. I needed to buy 2 of them, and I cut these panels out. I just simply measured the box and measure this. I like the size of the openings because you can reach in and you can, like for tomatoes and bell peppers, it's very easy to get them out. And it worked really well. At the end of the season, what do you do with this thing? You just fold it flat and hang it up on a nail in your garage or breezeway or carport or whatever. And so you can store it that way or just put it up against the back fence. So it folds up and gets out of the way. These are just cable ties that I put on here. Didn't put them on too tight. Those two tomato plants completely filled this thing clear up and hung over the side halfway down. Now, you know what happens to tomato plants in July and August when it's really, really hot? The leaves all turn brown. They look like they're dead. They quit producing. What happens is that tomato blossoms will not pollinate when the temperatures get above 85 degrees. Tomatoes like cool nights and warm days, but when it's really hot in the day and doesn't cool off too much at night, tomatoes just shut down. And so not only do you not get tomatoes, fruit, but the leaves themselves. The plant will stay alive if you keep it hydrated, but the plant itself tends to brown out. These turned all brown. I was determined to keep this thing going. So we just kept adding water to the box. They never really recovered. I got some new green growth when the temperatures moderated. I got some new growth coming out and a few small tomatoes, but it wasn't worth checking it every day and adding water. I would recommend, however you're growing tomatoes, is that when it gets good and hot, yank them out, cut them off, whatever. In the middle of July, you can plant a new little tomato plant, start all over. You won't think about it, because who thinks of planting tomatoes in the middle of the heat? But if you can find them, not very many places carry them at that time of year, but you can grow your own. Start 6 weeks before, plant your own seeds in the house, and then take your little plants out and put them right back in here, and then you'll have enough time for a pretty good crop. If you wait until August to do it, you may get caught with an early frost and not get very many tomatoes. So try to get them in the EarthBox or whatever growing system you're using by the middle of July. And by the way, the time for planting things, we have a display of seeds, vegetables, and flower seeds in our gift shop, and clipped on there is a sheet, and it's a planting chart. And it will tell you, depending on whether you live in the upstate or in the Midlands of South Carolina or along the coastal areas, it will give you your planting dates for every vegetable you could ever want to plant. And that is for your early garden and your fall garden. And it will tell you in there, it'll give you 2 or 3 week window for planting your fall tomatoes, but you don't plant them in the fall. You plant them in the summer. It'll tell you can plant, radishes in January or snow peas in January, and it's amazing how many months of the year you can actually plant things if you know which ones to plant and what time to do it. So lots of helpful tips there. If we happen to be out of that paper in there, and I make about 12 to 15 a week and they just disappear, you can print it out yourself. I got it online. I got it at the Clemson HGIC website. Look for FACT, F-A-C-T, fact sheets. Open up that website and go to the section called Planning a Garden. Not planting, but planning a garden.